Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Brigadier General Patrick R. Michaelis, and the Post Command Sergeant Major, Filson Tavernier, welcome to the United States Army Training Center in Fort Jackson for the graduation of companies Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo from the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, 193rd Infantry Brigade. Please stand for the invocation given by Chaplain Zufeld.
Good morning. At this time, I invite you to pray with me according to your faith tradition as I pray according to mine. Father in heaven, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet here today to celebrate the dedicated soldiers of Class 2203. May these soldiers move forward in their lives and careers using their experience here as a foundation of strength. We are grateful for the dedication that each soldier displayed as they overcame the tests and challenges placed before them. These challenges included fatigue, separation from loved ones, as well as the guidance of the always present professional drill sergeant. The soldiers standing before us today refuse to quit and have earned the proud title of U.S. Army Soldier. Please bless this ceremony and continue to bless these soldiers and their families as they progress in their lives. This we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see standing in formation before you today, who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last official formation of the training cycle. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training, but those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and these soldiers can take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of these soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of them and are truly honored that they have chosen to join our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today, from your left to right, are the 282nd Army Band, under the command of Chief Warrant Officer 4 Bauer. Graduating soldiers from companies Alpha and Bravo, the Battalion Color Guard, and graduating soldiers from companies Charlie, Delta, and Echo. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army's training center system. Selected based on professional competence, leadership ability, and years of service, these men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear their distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the important responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Tyree Carroll, who serves as the executive officer for the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. He and the battalion staff are positioned on the field.
Down! Attention!
The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Messenger. On his left is Command Sergeant Major Garrett O'Keefe, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and principal advisor to the commander.
Down! Present! All! Hard work, sir! Dedication! Down! Order! On!
The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored.
Colors and awardees! Stand top!
Competence and commitment are the hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeant coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance, and serve as examples to all.
Sir, colors and awardees present. Present the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask our civilian guests to please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as our national anthem is played.
Now, present all. Detachment. Present all.
Please be seated.
Awardees. Halt. Wait.
Will all current and prior drill sergeants please stand as the drill sergeant of the cycle, Drill Sergeant Takeste, leads in reciting the drill sergeant's creed.
The drill sergeant creed! I am a drill sergeant. I assist each individual in their effort to become highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldiers, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I'm the pride of our trade, pride itself, and the army, and the country. I insist that each soldier meets to maintain the army standard of military bearing and courtesy, consistent with the high tradition of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example. Never require soldiers to attempt any task that I will not do myself. But first, last, and always, I am an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant. This will defend.
Please be seated. Lieutenant Colonel Messenger and Command Sergeant Major O'Keefe will now present the awards. The outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle is Drill Sergeant Ayad Takeste from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The soldier leader of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private First Class Jillian Duzanis from Ware, New Hampshire. The soldier of the cycle for Alpha Company is Specialist David Cook from Warren, New Jersey. The soldier leader of the cycle for Bravo Company is Specialist Christian Paris from Long Valley, New Jersey. The soldier of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private First Class Lillian Guidi from Lillington, North Carolina. The soldier leader of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private First Class Isaac Gill from Bend, Oregon. The soldier of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private Jaden Wager from Lynchburg, Virginia. The soldier leader of the cycle for Delta Company is Private Gordon Hardy from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The soldier of the cycle for Delta Company is Specialist James Broughton from Lynchburg, Virginia. The soldier leader of the cycle for Echo Company is Specialist Axel Tello from Miami Beach, Florida. The soldier of the cycle for Echo Company is Specialist Josiah Carlson from Millica, Minnesota. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Messenger.
All right. Hey, welcome. Brigadier General Michaelis, CSM Tavernier, Colonel White, Commanders, Command Sergeants Major, distinguished guests, families, and friends of the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. Thank you for attending today's ceremony. On behalf of the U.S. Army Training Center, Fort Jackson, Commanding General Brigadier General Michaelis, and the U.S. Army Training Center in Fort Jackson, Command Sergeant Major Tavernier, welcome to Fort Jackson and your soldiers' graduation ceremony. To the families in the audience, thank you for trusting us with your loved ones and for supporting their decision to serve our nation. It is my privilege to officially welcome you to both the Army and the Vicksburg family. I'm honored to stand before you here today and provide remarks about this special class of graduates. I never dreamed that when I graduated basic training about 22 years ago, that I would have the privilege of helping train the next generation of our Army. It was truly a rewarding experience watching this diverse group of citizens transform into a cohesive team of talented soldiers. Today we welcome 809 of America's newest soldiers to our ranks and mark their graduation from basic combat training. Out on the field today, alongside our soldiers, is the 282nd Band. We have the privilege of having the best band in the Army right here in Fort Jackson. And today is Chief Warrant Officer Ford's second to last graduation. He's been doing this for 5 years, so could you please join me in a round of applause for the band and Chief Warrant Officer Banks. America is the great nation today because of the sacrifices of generations of service members and their families who have fought to sustain our freedom. These great men and women, some of whom have made the ultimate sacrifice, volunteered to serve at a time and place in history when their nation needed them. The blood, sweat, and tears that they have shed on the battlefield and the home front is the reason we are able to assemble here today and celebrate the accomplishments of the soldiers on the field. I'd like to recognize all our veterans and retirees of our armed services, past and present, in the audience. To my brothers and sisters in arms, thank you for attending today. You especially know the significance of what these soldiers have accomplished as we welcome them into our profession of arms. Please stand and be recognized. So I would be remiss if I did not mention that none of us actually serve alone. Our families serve right along with us and make sacrifices as well. So please join me in a round of applause for our military families. The next group of individuals I would like to recognize are my cadre. And this talented group of staff officers, non-commissioned officers, platoon leaders, commanders, and first sergeants work tirelessly to ensure that the battalion accomplishes its mission. Their efforts often get overlooked as they are quiet professionals who work in the background to make all of this possible. Please join me in a round of applause for the cadre. Now, and probably most importantly, I want to thank the backbone of the battalion, our drill sergeants. Those of us who've been in the Army remember how demanding basic training was as a trainee. The hours of practicing basic rifle marksmanship, the intense physical training, and the constant stress. What we do not appreciate is that through it all, our drill sergeants are there every step of the way. They're up in the morning preparing prior to the trainees getting out of bed, and they go home after the trainees are in bed. They do this cycle after cycle. This level of dedication and selfless service is impressive. I would like to take a moment to recognize this team of professionals and their families that support them for a job well done. A little over 10 weeks ago, the soldiers you see before you left home, some of them for the first time. They left as civilians. They left as your sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, and even some of you grandchildren and cousins. You sent them to us. You trusted us to house them, to feed them, but also to train them and make them better. And now they stand before you transformed. On May 27th, 896 trainees began this journey. 809 soldiers stand before you today. Here are some interesting facts about those 809. They are quite a diverse group. The youngest soldier is 17. The oldest is 41. They come from every state in the U.S., 3 territories, 47 different countries, and represent 6 continents. Places like China, Vietnam, Peru, Mexico, Egypt, Iraq, Nigeria, Liberia, Germany, Poland, California, all the way to Virginia and Alaska too, just to name a few. In this formation, there are soldiers with associate degrees. We have 7. We have 62 bachelor degrees, 9 masters, and even 5 PhDs. Despite their unique and diverse backgrounds, what unites all of them is each one of them, for their own unique reasons, answered the call. They raised their right hand and they swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies. Ladies and gentlemen, the soldiers standing before you on the field today represent the very best that our nation has to offer. They are physically fit, mentally tough, intelligent, and resilient. Time and time again, throughout some very tough training, they have been tested, and they demonstrated that they are up to the task of defending our nation. Command Sergeant Major Keefe and I are extremely proud and will sleep easy knowing that the future of our great Army lays in their capable hands. To the soldiers on the field, Team Vicksburg, this is my last opportunity to address you as your commander. I want to leave you with just a few quick thoughts. Right before you move out to your next objective in your Army journey. You made it. You did not quit. You did not quit yourself. You did not quit your teammates. You did not quit your nation. I'm proud to count you among the ranks. You should be proud of what you have accomplished and take some time to enjoy this moment. It is a critical milestone in your life, and you should be proud of everything you've accomplished so far. Always remember, the business of defending our nation never stops. Tomorrow, we will need to get right back at it. Set your goals high. The Army is one of the very few true meritocracies in the world. Over the course of your career, you will have countless opportunities to advance and excel. You just have to put in the hard work and take advantage of them. Only you can stop you. And finally, from the first day you arrived in this battalion, you have been saying our unofficial motto on a daily basis. The motto is hard work, and the response is dedication. You all have exemplified those two words over the course of your training. Always remember that it was hard work and dedication that got you here, and it's hard work and dedication that will enable whatever you want to do next. I am proud of all of you. I wish you luck in your future endeavors, and thank you all for joining us today. Hard work, dedication, first at Vicksburg, no ground to give, and victory. Thank you.
Detachment! Halt!
Today's soldier is above all a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally committed to the warrior ethos, grounded in Army values, and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army Soldiers Creed embodies this commitment. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see you that you are a willing and able protector of the freedoms fought so arduously for by all who have gone before and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Specialist Paris leads the soldiers standing before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed.
The Soldier's Creed!
Please be seated.
Pass and review!
In consideration of those around you, We ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. As you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it is passed to your right. Once the ceremony has concluded, family members of awardees may meet their soldier under the canopy located to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends, please meet your soldier on the field. The 13th Infantry Regiment formed on July 16, 1798, during the first expansion of the Army after the War of Independence. During the War of 1812, the 13th Infantry was engaged almost constantly in skirmishes along the northern frontier. The 13th United States Infantry was then reorganized by direction of the President on May 14, 1861. Its headquarters were established at Jefferson Barracks, Missouri, where companies Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Golf of the 1st Battalion were organized. During the American Civil War, the unit earned its motto, First at Vicksburg. On December 2, 1863, the regiment left for the expedition against Vicksburg, where they participated in the battles of Hayes Bluffs, Champion Hill, and Black River. On May 19, 1863, the regiment led the assault on the Vicksburg fortifications. The 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment was the only Union unit to plant its colors on the Confederate positions. While the other battalions of the regiment have adopted the 40 rounds motto of the 15th Corps, the 1st Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment truly was first at Vicksburg. Following the Civil War, the battalion participated in the Indian Wars, fighting multiple skirmishes in the Montana and Dakota territories. During the Spanish-American War, the battalion was sent to Cuba with the 1st Infantry Division. On July 1, 1898, the 13th Infantry was part of the fierce fighting on San Juan Hill. The regiment suffered the highest casualty rate, but is credited with being the first to breach the enemy position. The remaining soldiers stormed the fortifications, engaged the enemy in hand-to-hand combat, and captured the enemy flag. The battalion then saw action during the Philippines insurrection. In June 1918, the battalion was reassigned to the 8th Infantry Division, but did not participate in World War I. In 1939, the regiment was ordered to the Panama Canal Zone, and a year later, after having been disbanded, was reconstituted at Camp Jackson, South Carolina. The regiment deployed during World War II, fighting through the hedgerows of France in July 1944, as a member of the 8th Infantry Division, leading the drive to the I River. Passing the reviewing stand is the Commander of Troops, Major Tyree Carroll, and the battalion staff. The 282nd Army Band is commanded by Chief Warrant Officer Ford Powell. The drum major is Sergeant Brown. Company Alpha is commanded by Captain Teron Riggins. First Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant, Staff Sergeant Thomas Fox. Second Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant, Staff Sergeant David Torres. Third Platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant, Staff Sergeant Casey Hartley. Fourth Platoon platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Chartel Deloney. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Sarah Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it is passed to your right. Company Bravo is commanded by Captain Kyle Walters. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Al Galan. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Sergeant First Class Daniel Sanders. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Moses Morales. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Sergeant First Class Richard Fink. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Patricia Rogers. Company Charlie is commanded by Captain Nathan Amos. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Sergeant First Class Nicole Dahl. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Daniel Wilson. Third platoon is led by First Lieutenant Chanel Cox. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Brian Hollingsworth. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Sergeant First Class Tyler Steele. Company Delta is commanded by Captain Natalie Johnson. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Michelle Chandler. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Jesus Trevino. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Jonathan Hamrick. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Raymond Jude Paskey. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Lucas Bradfield. Company Echo is commanded by Captain Eric Solian. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant James Lemke. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Kirk Sylvester. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Nikki Boonzava. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Staff Sergeant Leah Acker. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant First Class Christopher Brown. gentlemen, please stand for the Army song and please remain in the bleachers until the conclusion of the ceremony is announced.
Take charge of the battalion.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Victory starts here.